Wow, what a great day this is going to be. Not even sure what I want to do, but I think we'll put the tools away and enjoy. First day, I think they're going to be above 70. But of course, it is the day after Memorial Day. Uh-oh. Day after Memorial Day, this is a cabin fashion faux pas. I'm wearing plaid after Memorial Day. We can't be doing that. There, that's better. Declaring summer. Put the wool away. Get the plaid back out on Labor Day. It's also a good chance to introduce this new line of the North Woodsman 1 clothing. This is our new spring collection. If you're interested in a spring collection, just be careful you don't get taken by some cheap knockoff imports. You got to make sure that it has the official North Woodsman 1 logo on there. Day 13 of my spring 2019 trip. Good news is I'm still healthy, haven't got sick, even though yesterday was the day my friend stopped by and tipped me off that all those mushrooms I was eating early on there for the first 12 days on and off were not the black morels that he called. Morels. But while he was here, we went back out to that pad all those false morels, and lo and behold, now the real morels were growing in the same place. So he picked up a real good bag full to take home. And I brought back a big pocket full to have for breakfast this morning. He also brought up another batch of farm fresh eggs, so we have a very sumptuous meal this morning of real black morels, farm fresh eggs, and some cheddar jack melted into the mix. It was a nice clear night last night early on, then it clouded up so the temps didn't drop too far. It's 50 degrees outside right now, heading for a high of low 60s maybe. Pretty good chance of rain moving in mid-afternoon, so I'm going to take advantage, and I got a little 6-mile loop that I want to go out and walk. It'll start off with maybe 3.5 miles of dry, and then, as so many of my walks have been this time, I'll be slogging in the water in the bog for the rest. But I haven't got around to that part of the trail in a while, so I want to take advantage. One of the goals in this walk was come by and checking my vehicle, and pop the hood and make sure no animals have taken up residence, and fire it up for a few minutes, make sure I'm good for the trip home. The trail I'm walking actually is above this long narrow marsh. The trail runs along a long sand ridge, but right over the knoll and down here this big marsh runs for a long ways. Probably the biggest one up here. Even in the wintertime, it's a tough slog out in that grass. When trails get this wet, at least not too much grows to give you troubles. A few trees might fall across. You're walking a trail and the pitcher plants are on higher elevation than your toes, you know you're in wet ground. When I took off on that walk, the forecast was for some showers moving in the afternoon, but the way it turned out, I walked in a light drizzle first 3 or 4 miles, and it was supposed to warm up, and for that reason I almost didn't throw another log in the fire when I left the cabin, but by the time the walk was over with, it had quit drizzling, but the sun never came out, and I think it's probably just in the low 50s for degrees. So fortunately I had a rain jacket to put on to stay warm, and now that cabin fire is going to feel pretty good as I sit back and relax. Well, it's kind of worse than I thought. I'm seeing about 47 degrees Fahrenheit. That's working out really well for me. It keeps these bugs down, but I feel for the farmers who would like to try to get some crops in and need some warm weather. Tonight we're having a big venison cheeseburger, pepper jack cheese. Let that melt in there. And I have some mashed potatoes and corn. Now, I really like to have my corn mixed in with my mashed potatoes, but I get grief at home about that. I've even been accused of corrupting my great niece and getting her to do that. But here, where I'm the only one eating, I think I can save me a pot. I got my corn cooked up there with a little extra water, and I'm going to go ahead and just mix it in, and I'm going to make my just the way I like them. Corn, potatoes, mixed up from the word go. Get a little pepper. Cheese is melted good. We're ready. Gotten into the last few days of May here. Been up into the 70 degrees Fahrenheit and warmer the last few days, so bugs have finally come out. They're not atrocious yet, but bad enough that I decided to come out here in the morning and have my morning coffee, enjoying the out of doors, because a few more hours it might not be quite as nice to sit out here unencumbered by any nuisances. This is only the second morning that I haven't fired the wood stove up inside to take the chill off. It's still about 65, 70 degrees inside the cabin. There was no need. With these days getting really too warm, I'm going to take advantage before it gets too hot and go out for a little birding walk. The bugs haven't come out yet either, so that's nice. One of my gray jays showed up and took a few nibbles, but it hasn't been back. But I was surprised yesterday morning because I'd mentioned that I hadn't seen any young birds. Well, yesterday morning the pair of gray jays came in and they brought a young one with them. Very dark gray plumage, so they're very easy to tell. He had a good indoctrination to cabin food because my friend Don had come out the day before, and so I baked a chicken that night. So they had a chicken carcass to pick over, so they made short work of that with the three of them. I've taken another walk back down to that big logging area, but this time just on a suspicion. I had an old trail that I'd abandoned years ago. I just got tired of keeping it up, and I thought they must have almost broke into that trail, so I went over to the old trail, and it wasn't too bad a shape. And it came out right here and probably used to run right down along where that green part is. And since they've got this opened up so nice, and they were running trucks along this edge, there's no wood there at all, so it's going to be a nice trail to open back up again for a while. I'm probably about 3.5 miles out from the cabin right now, but it'll make some nice diversity and making a big loop down in this area. I'm headed back to the cabin now, and from that little rest spot I took there by the logged off area, it was really wet in there, but as I go a little to the north, dried up a little bit. Still spongy trail, but through a fairly young forest, so there's only a few alders have fallen across the trail. Thing probably hasn't seen any trimming in 15 years. That's doing really good. Kind of a swan war going on here. We had the two swans and the third one came. And then you saw when those two came over to attack the first one, or the two came over to attack the third one that showed up. And now the third one, he's just flying around and around.